And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Norenberc is a new game from White Goblins, and it's, I guess if I was describing it to someone who hadn't played before, I would use a terminology. This is a typical Euro. This is a game where you're buying and selling and trying to have the most money by the end of the game. But, okay, this is going to seem shallow, but there is red cupcakes in this, little pink cupcake pieces in this game. I love cupcakes. Okay, it's just that the components are really nice. Now, that's not something that's going to help and make a game better, but after playing a game, I would say it's slightly above average for that type of Euro game. And there's a lot of interesting different features and very much interaction with each other, even if it is indirect. And the components bring that up even a little bit more of a level. This is a pretty solid game, and I did enjoy it. Let's take a look at it. Depending on the number of players playing will depend on how many of these guilds you use. Here you can see 5 of the guilds. There's a 6th one up there. But we're using these 4 down here, the 5 down here for a 4-player game. You use one more than a number of players. But let's take a closer look at each of the guilds. Each guild here has a bunch of their resources down here at the bottom. So here you have beer steins for this one, and of course the most awesome cupcake pieces. Yeah. Alright, I just like cupcakes. But anyway, a player also will notice, you also notice here that you have these men down here. These are the people who are the guild masters. Each round, there's 4 rounds of the game. Each round there's 1 guild master. And so currently it's this gentleman here. This guy has a rank 5. Next turn will be 4. Next turn will be 6. There's 2 guys here, but only the guy in top counts. And so last turn the number will be 3. Up here in the top of the house, you have people who are staying at the house, who may be people from other guilds or they're other folks. And so that's basically how each house is set up. Each player is going to get 1 of the different types of resources: cupcakes, paper, cloth, boots, maybe hats if you're playing with all the different players. Players are also going to get workers here of their type, and there's more workers. Each player gets 4 of them, and then 4 more are placed to the side. Players will also get money, and then players will get a card. This is the red player, and he has a card that matches each of the number of guilds. Now, what players are going to do on their turn is they are going to put some of these cards down like this, and they're going to put workers on them to show that the workers are going to their guild. Now, what's interesting about this game is you send out your workers. You don't have to send out all of them, and you can keep some back and then send these people to the same guilds as you sent. You can keep, in fact, if with 4 workers, you could send all 4 workers to the same guild, just doing it one at a time. The advantage is that you can see what everyone else has done and go, but you might not get to go first. So after that, we start then with each guild. I'll say, okay, here's the beer guild, and anyone who has a beer guild turn over. So anyone who has a beer guild will reveal their card, and then they can send one of their workers to the beer guild. Now, what does that do? Well, let's take a look at the beer guild again. When you're here at a guild, it's Cupcake Guild, that's cooler. When you're at a cupcake guild, you can do one of 3 things. You can buy cupcakes, sell cupcakes, or hire one of these people at the top who are staying there. When you buy or sell, the price is here. So you can see, for example, the current price for the baked goods is 2. So I can buy or sell them for 2. Well, obviously it's a good time to buy them, especially when I can see next turn they're going to be a price of 7. What's interesting, though, is when I buy these guests up here. And let's take a closer look at these. You can see each of these 4 guests up here has a different cost to buy them. This one costs a cupcake. This costs a cupcake and 1 of any other good. 2 cupcakes or 1 cupcake and 2 of any other goods. 3 cupcakes, 2 cupcakes, and 2 of any other good. When I pay those goods, they get paid here. So let's say, for example, I paid 2 cupcakes and 2 beer. The beer would be placed down here. So when I'm buying goods from this place, I can buy the beer, not just the cupcakes, for the price of 2. And that adds an interesting dynamic to the game. After everyone's done buying and selling and using all their workers, and there's some other things, whenever you use a worker, you put them up at the top of the guild, and if you have multiple people up there, you can change turn order sometimes when you buy one of these guys, which makes sense, and turn order is marked over here in the first guild. After everyone has bought them, we will then, all the guilds, look at all the goods you have of their type. So let's say, for example, I have 4 cupcakes, and no one else has more than me. In that case, I will get the guild master of that guild. He's mine. Ha 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 ha. And I also get the shield of that guild. If that guild is the leading guild at any point in time, which is the guild with the highest guild master. So currently you can see the beer guild is the one with that. They have this. I would also get that shield. And then all the guild masters move down and we do some other things and so forth. At the end of the game, you're going to score points for having the highest number combined of each of the guild masters and for the most different shields that you have. So you're trying to win as many different shields as you can. Now, money is a crucial thing, so buying and selling gives you money. But getting these people up here too, like I said, you can get some people for guilds, which will help you at the end of the game. But also, you'll see this guy here. Every turn, he's a moon, so he'll give you a special ability between every round. If it shows a sun, it just gives you something at the end of the game. For example, this guy just gives you 3 points. And some, like a star, he lets you trade 2 people. So I can take any 2. For example, I can take this guy and switch him with this one, making next turn the price of beer be 6 instead of 4. And some of the people that you take, whether they're from a guild or not, they might have an extra person here, which means you will then get an extra worker to use on future turns. That's basically the gist of the game. It sounds a little bit more complicated than it is. It's 4 rounds. The 4th round is certainly, I would say, probably twice the length of the first round, but it's still interesting as you buy all the different goods. Setup is a bit of a pain. There's a lot of different pieces to set up, but overall it looks really good and plays smoothly. So I like the game. I mean, it's not going to be one that I'm asking people to play all the time, and as I look through it, there's nothing really that strikes me as unique and interesting, with the exception of I like how you can sell goods to a shop to get those workers, and then those goods are available for purchase later on. That was a neat little mechanic, and the pieces are fantastic. There seems to be a variety of what's going on. The game's a little longer, maybe, I don't know though, it seems to come in about right. It's somewhere between 90 minutes and 2 hours for 4 or 5 players. And there's interaction between the players because you're buying and selling and sometimes switching people that other folks want. I like it, but I don't love it, I guess would be the thing. It's neat, there's nice components, and everything goes by, and it's one that I'll gladly play, and I think the components have elevated it above being just a mediocre game. But, you know, there's nothing super special there. What kind of wishy-washy ending is this? Well, it's just the way it is. I haven't yet decided if I'm going to hang on to my copy or not, because I have a lot of other games that do very similar things, but this one looks so nice. We'll have to wait and see.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.